Awesome. All right. And hey, y'all, welcome back to Finance Fridays with Friends. I'm your host, Tremaine Wills, your favorite financial strategist, educator, and founder of Mind Over Money, where our goal is to help you manage money better. Every Friday, I bring on brilliant business bosses to talk about things that are going to help you build wealth and run your business just a little bit better. And today we got a powerhouse, and we're going to be talking about a topic that so many entrepreneurs just wait until the last minute. So hopefully, if you're catching this live, if you're catching this on the replay, you're catching this at a time where it's not the last minute and you can implement and execute what we're going to be covering. We are going to show you how you can do a better job of getting funding for your business, right? With the current landscape of the economy and with so many different things just changing, it's important that you know where to go to find the money. All right. So today we have our guest with us, Shantae, and she is going to drop the gem. So if you are here, I encourage you to pull out a notebook. Maybe you'll have to come back and watch this again. But this is one of those episodes where you want to tune in and lock in and make sure that you don't miss any pieces of information. So Shantae, if you can do us a favor and kind of talk a little bit more about who you serve, why you serve them, and what got you into talking about business funding.
Yes. Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Welcome, everyone. My name is Shantae Roddy. I am the founder and CEO of She Boss Talk, and I am the creator of Bankable Business Certification. This is the first national certificate, bankable certification created by a Black woman. I have been in business for 11 years, and I have served entrepreneurs and small businesses over the last 11 years. So I know a lot about entrepreneurs, small businesses, their struggles, their challenges, their successes, and what it is that they need to be able to start and grow a successful business. My primary focus is women and underestimated entrepreneur. So if you are consider yourself an underestimated entrepreneur, what that means is that a lot of times you are not of the maybe right status economically or culturally, which means a lot of times you're left out or left away from the table, not given access to various types of things that you need to build generational wealth, including having access to funding. And so those are the people that I served. And how did I get into funding? Well, I had started just seeking funding for myself, but the real thing that really transformed, you know, my agenda in this space was COVID. COVID, I don't know a business that COVID did not impact. It impacted my business. I was pivoting from one business to this business, She Boss Talk, which is a media marketing company, at the time that COVID hit. And so that really impacted the business that I was pivoting from, and it impacted the business that I was starting. And I had just started this platform right before COVID. I had made up in my mind I was going to get really focused and dedicated on YouTube, and I was just going to show up. And during COVID, I saw so many people having challenges. When I was getting funding, I was getting grants, I was getting all of the different relief, and people were asking me, "How are you able to do it? Like, what do we do? What do we need to learn? What do we need to know? Because I'm struggling. Like, I don't know how to get it. I want it, but I don't know how to get it." And so I use my platform to share my knowledge and expertise about what was doing and what I continue to do to get access to funding. And I was able to help thousands of entrepreneurs be able to access all types of funding, over 200 million.
Wow.
Yeah. 200.
Wow. That's so good. And sorry, y'all, if that came across super loud, but I didn't know that particular metric, right? I knew you
Yeah.
had been helping thousands of entrepreneurs, but I didn't know it was over $200 million of funding.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a conservative number. Yes.
That is amazing.
Thank
So
you.
of course I have 700,000 questions for you, but one of my favorite things about talking to you is that this is something that you started out of necessity for yourself. And
Yes.
the thing that really allows us to help other people is when we connect because we know what it feels like at the particular moment people are interacting with us because we've
Yeah.
been in that spot, right? So the fact that you were able to figure it out, do it for yourself, and then come back and teach other people is really what I'm excited about, because this wasn't something where you kind of just started as a high level expert and
Right.
you figured out what to do and are able to communicate it in a way that makes sense for the everyday person to understand it too. So
That's
I'm
right.
so excited. Okay, so if we can kind of start at the basics, right, and just talk about what exactly is business funding and how does it differ from like just personal credit cards and loans, things like that.
Yeah. So business funding is any type of money that you can secure for your business. Okay. That's different than you securing business for yourself, right? So just if you think about, you're earning income for personal income, you're getting personal credit cards, you have personal credit, you have the same type or similar on the business side, but then for the business, everything is under your business name. So you are actively seeking to get money from someone or some entity, like a business, a foundation, an organization, a community development organization, to help you secure money for your business to either start, to maintain, to operate, or to grow your business. And there's different types of funding that is out there. But that is like the simplest form that I can put it. I mean, I don't know who doesn't want to have some money, right? Ching, 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 in your possession to help you build your business, because the reality is many of us, especially those that are underrepresented entrepreneurs, do a lot of bootstrapping. What that means is the monies that we get, that we invest in our business, comes from us. Like, we're bootstrapping it, so we're saving money, hustling, trying to get those dollars to grow our business. But there is a lot of funding out there that is available to you specifically for your business and for business use.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, I think the key here that you pointed out is that this is money specifically connected to the business, right? It's
Business.
not
Yes.
just money that you can get access to that's connected to your personal tax ID. It's connected to the business.
Your business, or that you use for your personal. So, and a lot of times the funders will be specific in that regard. Like, if I'm a funder, which I am a funder, and I'm going to, you're asking me for $10,000. Okay, so I'm going to ask you many times, what is going to be the use of that money? And if you tell me that the use of the money is to pay your rent, your personal rent on your home or your mortgage, the answer is going to be no, because that is not business related. It must be related to your business.
That's good. That's a good point. Um, And I think that even though we often need the money to help cover whatever expenses we have running our business, that's not what the purpose of seeking the business funding is for. It has
That's
to
right.
be something that's related to either growth or operations of our business, not covering personal expenses. That's a very good thing to
Exactly.
point out. So, my next question here is, what are the top 2 or 3 funding options for business owners who are making less than
Mhm.
$100,000 a year, right? Because from what I've seen is that it's easy to get access to capital when you already have money coming in, right?
Mhm.
But when you are either just starting or when you're not really making that much money, the options appear to be few and far between. So, you as the expert, what are 2 to 3 places that small business owners should be considering when they aren't making 6 figures yet?
Okay, let me just say, it may seem easy. It's easier. It's not necessarily easy. It's easier. And it's easier when you have your business in order, and it's easier when you have consistently have revenue coming in across the board. That's for everybody. Whatever stage of business that you're in, your goal is to make money in your business. So let's just start right there. Your goal is to make money in your business. You're not a charity. And even if you are a charity, that's for nonprofits, your job is still to make money in your business. Okay. And so the funding you're seeking cannot be the only source of income that you're trying to gain for your business. This is important because this is the mindset of a lot of entrepreneurs when they're in the space trying to seek funding, and they don't know that. Like, they're looking at you saying, okay, you need to know that your business is sustainable and how you are going to make money in your business. And if you're not clear on that, then the likelihood of us giving you money to fund anything is going to be very low. So what I would say is the top funding I say to seek out, number one, are grants. This is for any business. And why? What grants are? It is money that you do not have to pay back. Okay. So it's different than a loan. Loans have terms. Okay. So the loan, they give you $10,000. They may say, okay, you need to pay back X amount over the next 5 years, or you need to pay it back over the next 6 months. A grant is money that a funder or grantor is what they're often called. They give to you, and based on it could be need based or it could be growth based, and a business that aligns with their mission, okay, and what they're trying to achieve, whatever their goal is, and you're aligning with it. You apply for the grant, and it's very competitive. I encourage people to do it. It's very competitive. You have to wait, so you have to have patience, because it could take weeks, it could take months. And sometimes it could take several months before you find out if you are a grant recipient. But the great thing about it is you don't have to give up equity in your business, which is ownership in your business, right? And you don't have to pay it back. So you don't have to worry about being burdened with terms that you have to pay back. But you have to be, again, clear on what it is that what you're doing in your business, what you want to do, and how you're planning to use the money for your business. So grants is number one. Number two, for business that is starting up, or that's making less than 10K a year, I would say is crowdfunding would be next. Crowdfunding is great because you use a platform. An example of one that I'm on is iFundWomen. They were actually just acquired by Honeycomb Credit, but they still operate under the brand of iFundWomen. And iFundWomen, they provide grants, they provide loans, but they're a crowdfunding platform. And so what it is that you decide, okay, what it is that you want to do and how much money you want, and you start a campaign. So you create or you build a campaign around whatever your initiative is or what your venture is, and you may offer something to people that donate. So what it happens is a community of people. You share your campaign, you get on the platform, and people contribute. They may contribute $25, $50. They may contribute thousands of dollars to your campaign, so that to help you raise whatever amount you're trying to raise. So you may be trying to raise $25,000. So these people in the community, on the platform and outside, like your friends, your family, your peers, your network, contribute to help you raise that money. And a lot of times in return, you offer them some type of incentive for them to do that. Maybe an ad spot or shout out on your social media. Maybe if you're an author, maybe you're offering them a copy of your book in a t-shirt at different levels, depending on what levels that you create on your crowdfunding campaign. Some crowdfunding campaigns don't require that at all. Like Kiva, I'm really connected with Kiva. We lend on Kiva. I recommend it. I've helped people get funded on Kiva. Kiva is a nonprofit crowdfunding platform that loans entrepreneurs up to around the globe up to $15,000, and it works similarly. It's a loan, but you don't pay it back. So you crowdfund the loan, but there's no interest. It's zero interest. And the people in the community like me that are paying, right, that are giving you this money, then over time you pay a little bit back until you're able to pay back the amount up to $15,000. So that's crowdfunding. That's what I recommend. Those are the top two.
Okay, this is so good, right? So we talked about grants, right? We talked about crowdfunding. You even mentioned a few different platforms that people can get started on
Yes.
to start to raise some of that money, right? Um, so my next question is, even with this information, what do you think some of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs are making when they are trying to get funding?
The There's a few mistakes that they make when they're trying to access funding. When you're trying to access funding, not having a plan,
Mm,
meaning not having a funding plan. Uh, there's no strategy connected to it. It's just I want money, I need money now. And then also waiting until you're in a crisis situation to try to seek funding. That you want to
ah,
seek funding when you are in peak season, when you are doing your best, when you're making money, when you have the clients coming in. That's really when you want to seek out funding. If it is not based needs based, okay, there's different types of funding. If it's not needs based, like if it's growth based or just regular type of working capital, you need to be planning for when you are at peak season making money in your business. Like if you're trying to seek a loan or line of credit, right? These are different things that you need to know. But not having a plan, not even knowing how much do you need, right? You need to know, okay, based on your business and how it's functioning, how it's operating, what stage you're in, what are your business needs, and how much money outside of your own and outside of the revenue that you're bringing in do you need to help sustain you or to help meet a specific need in your business or help you to be able to grow and scale. These are different seasons of your business. These are different needs in your business, which requires different types of funding. Either way, you need a funding plan, right? What type of funding is out there? Knowing, so doing your research ahead of time. So there's no research or anything. It's just, okay, I need to try to get funding. So you need to have a strategy. You need to have a plan about why do you need this money? Okay. What type of money is best for your business need at the time and in the future? So you should be thinking towards the future as well when you're thinking about getting funding. I would say also not really pursuing it. So not being all in
mm,
and giving up easily. I really experienced this throughout COVID. I was able to help so many people, but there were so many I wasn't able to help because they were not prepared. So that's another thing, is not being prepared in your business, meaning not being structurally sound in your business. If you say you have a business, you can't just say you have a business. You have to have things in your business that are verifiable to a funder. Okay. It's not enough for you to have filed your LLC if you filed your LLC and you have not worked the business in any way in the years that you've been in business. I'm not talking about you just started in the first few months. I mean that you have not attempted to make money in your business. You have not documented. You have not filed your tax records. That was a big one. There were so many business owners still to this day that are in business, and I'm talking about in business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, seeking funding and have not filed taxes in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. These are required if you have a business to file business taxes. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. People are like, oh, well, someone told me that I don't have to file business taxes unless I make $50,000 a year. That is not true. So you're listening to people that are not professional, that lack knowledge, and then when it comes time to get funding, now you don't have what you need, right? Or you're paying people, you're receiving money, but you're not properly documenting it, meaning that you are getting paid, but you're not those payments are not going to a bank account, and it's not going to a business bank account to show that you are actually generating revenue. So again, if it's not on paper, it's not happening. You have to realize that. So these are just a few of the mistakes that business owners are making that is keeping them from the money that is out there. And these are some simple but very serious steps that they can take to really transform the way their business is positioned to be able to access more money.
This is so good. So as a financial professional, right, that offers services in helping you make sure you have the statements that are going to be required, like your profit and loss, your balance sheet. It is so refreshing to hear you say, like, a lot of the reason why you can't get access to funding is because you don't have the proper documentation and your business
That's
isn't set up appropriately, right?
right. Yes.
So some of the mistakes are that, hey, you got to get your ducks in a row, right? We got to start operating in a
As a
way
business.
where we want people to take us seriously, right? So
Seriously.
that means paying taxes, right? It's hard to go ask for money when you're not
That's right.
stewarding the money you've already made appropriately,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so
right?
good. And can I expound on that?
Yeah.
Because what I found over the years is there's a mindset, right, that we'd want to hide money from the government until we
Mhm.
actually need the government's help, or from any outsiders until we actually need the help. That puts us at a huge disadvantage. So we're doing everything secretly or under the table. We don't want people to know about this or that. Let me tell you, when you start a business, you have to be fully transparent. It's not like your personal and your social security number that you keep private. Put all that to the side. That's your personal. Your business has to be very transparent, and you have to allow entities visibility inside your business, especially if you are asking them to give you money to support your business or your mission. It really doesn't make sense to ask them to take a risk on you and you are withholding information from them. You're not being fully transparent. You, even if you are struggling or challenged in your business, if you want money, the best thing that you can do is be very transparent and honest about where you are in your business, the struggles you're having. And I saw, especially COVID and post COVID, there's still a lot of funding available for businesses that are having challenges in their business. Okay. And there are a lot that's still having challenges after due to the aftermath of COVID, right? But again, it requires you to be honest and open and transparent with your business. They're going to ask you for your bank statements. They're going to ask you for your profit and loss and for your balance sheet. And for a lot of businesses, they're just hearing these terms for the first time. They
Mm.
haven't even had anyone mention this to them. And for the ones that have bookkeepers and accountants and tax professionals, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to help you. You have to, your, those financial professionals are your partners. You are supposed to be in partnership, and you should have visibility into all aspects of your business. So what that means is you should be showing up to the table, meeting with them on a regular basis, reviewing with them your financial reports. And what I see is a lot of people, they hire professionals, but they still are clueless about what is happening in their business. Then they get taken advantage of, or there's something that they're applying for, and they have no clue where they stand in their business. You should always know where you stand, the health of your business, because that is one of the first things that a funder is going to look for, that they're going to expect from you, and that they're going to ask for, is seeing how healthy is your business financially, and are
Yes.
you your business worth taking a risk and giving you access to funding, especially if it's a loan or line of credit or some type of funding that they have to pay back, or if they are seeking to invest to get equity out of some part ownership in your business. These are things that they're going to be asking for on a regular basis.
Yes. Okay. So this is so good. You dropped so many gems just now, right? So to kind of recap and summarize for folks who might be coming back in, right? We're talking about mistakes that business owners are making and not being transparent about their finances when they're going to seek funding, right? And so, one of the things that you talked about that I really want to re-emphasize is, as a business owner, even though you partner with financial professionals, it is still in your best interest to understand the numbers, right? So you
Yeah,
may hire a bookkeeper, a tax professional, an accountant to create the financial statements and to do the work of organizing your finances. But it is still on you as a business owner to know what is happening and what the reports mean, right? What is the health of
exactly.
your business, right?
Hmm.
Because you can have a profit and loss statement, but if you have no idea of what the profit margins are, or what your top expenses are, then it is very challenging for you to make smart decisions and put together that funding plan
The funding
based
plan.
on what's happening in the finances. So if you're here and you're in a place where you still are not quite sure what's going on, I want to encourage you to go have a conversation with the people who are on your money team and find out what's happening in your finances. And if you don't have a money team, tap the link in the comments, right? Or, ask for more information about how you can start to get people on your money team who are going to help explain what's going on, so you can come from a position of understanding and have some power behind you when you start going to look for funding.
Yeah, and let me say this: the biggest um investment and the best investments that I've made in my business have been hiring a money team. Absolutely, hands down. And I show up and they tell me a lot of times, like, man, I wish I had business owners that were this involved and this dedicated. Like, when they ask me for something, I'm on it. And know that your financial team can't do everything. Like, there's some things that like, there's regulations and compliance activities that, as a business owner, as you continue to grow, you'll find yourself having to do, and you have to show up as the CEO that you are. A lot of times I can request the reports from my money team, right? But I actually have to do the work, right? There's some systems that they can't get in, that I have to, as the CEO, be signing off on a lot of things. And I want to do that. That keeps me accountable. It keeps me accountable as well. And showing up for the cause, that is so important, in knowing your numbers, because your bookkeeper, a lot of times, they're not going to be on the call, and they're not going to be with you at the bank when you go to the bank and you're sitting in front of the specialist that's asking you, okay, why should I give you $100,000 to your business? And you have no clue, and they ask you, okay, can you explain these financials? Look, they are going to ask you this a lot of times. Okay, we see that you had a loss. Can you explain that? What are some reasons why you took a loss? Or why what is your plan for growth? Like, how is this money going to help you be able to grow your business, right? How is this going to help you? Or what is getting extending a patio, how is that going to help? Can you work the numbers? The financial team can help you, but working with them, you better understand, it's just going to put you in a stronger position overall as a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so good. This is so good. So for those of us who may be watching live or watching a replay, let us know in the comments, what's one thing you have learned so far tuning into this conversation. So I want to keep it going.
Yes.
I want to talk about credit. Right? So a
Yes.
lot of us, we know that we need money for the business, and sometimes we're coming to the table and we ain't got the best credit. What
Mm-hmm.
advice do you have for business owners who have revenue, right? They might be making some money, but their personal credit is shot.
Mm-hmm. First of all, what I want to explain is that I don't like the term bad credit. Okay.
Mm.
um, the people use that term a lot. It's a very catchy term, but there's a lot of shame around credit, people's lack of credit or low credit score. I just say you have low credit. You just have to understand that what funders are looking for when we talk about credit, whether it's personal credit or business credit, and where you fall in the spectrum, And what it all means, the lower your number is, the lower your number, this is as simple as I can make it, the higher risk that the funder is taking on you. Okay, that's basically what it means. So if you have lower numbers, is higher risk, which means that you may not qualify for certain opportunities you may qualify for, but because it's a higher risk, it's going to cost you more. You just have to understand that. The higher your score is on the scale, the lower you are and your business is as a risk to them. The risk is, if they give you this money, if they loan this money to you, are you going to pay it back? What is the likelihood that you will pay them back the money that they're giving to you to grow your business, to grow whatever venture that is? If let's look at it that way, because that's really what it is. And our goal should be to get our credit scores, to raise our credit scores to the level that's going to be optimal, that where we go in and look to seeking funding and the answer is going to be yes, the likelihood of a no is very little and the likelihood of a yes is great. And the likelihood that they're going to give you the best offer, the best deals, that's what you want. You want the best offer, the best deals when you are seeking out funding. You want the most money for whatever your need is. So say, for instance, you're going into a bank and you've worked your funding plan, and you know, in order for you to grow your business to 500,000, you have the plan, you know, this plan is going to make you $500,000, but you need $50,000 to make it happen. But because your where your credit is, you can only qualify for 10. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to stop you in achieving your goals. It just means that you're going to have to find other ways to come up with the remainder of that money that you need, that 40,000, and you can't. But you can only get 10,000. Whereas if your credit was higher, you could have gotten that 50,000. So I hope that makes sense. Either way, even if you have low credit, it don't count yourself out, because there are alternative and special programs that are out there to specifically to help you get funded, because we know that traditional funding options, which like the traditional bank where you bank at, oftentimes deny you for funding. So there are other options out there, non-traditional fintech firms that will fund you, especially, and what that means is that your credit score falls lower on the poll, right, on the scoring, than it normally would be from a traditional bank. They're not really looking at your credit score. That's good for you. They're looking more at your business health, your business plan. Do you have a good plan? And are you making money in your business? And if you're making money, then here we go. They're ready to give you money. And I know that personally, as a person, because you may have different struggles in your life. I've been a good steward over my life, but at times things happen. But that did not stop me from getting funding at all. I just rebuilt my credit and I kept making money in my business, and I knew when to go after the funding. So I hope that helps you. So don't count yourself out.
Yeah, no, this was credit. Yeah, no, this is super helpful, right? I love that you kind of level set and let us know that even if your credit score is lower, right, that doesn't mean the answer is automatically no. It just means you have to find and align yourself with financial institutions that take more risk, right? Yes. And so you mentioned that there are often alternative strategies, alternative institutions that will still give you access to capital, even though you may not have the highest score. Can you let us know maybe one or two places that are traditionally giving access to capital for people who have lower credit scores to use it for business funding?
Yes, so I have been partnered with a company called David Allen Capital for 5 or 6 years now. And through my partnership with them, I have helped a lot of business owners be able to get funding, like millions of dollars in funding. And what we call revenue-based funding, again, is based on your revenue, right? So they take into account the revenue you have coming in, and then they map out a plan for you based on that, like a payback strategy. Based on that, I built a great team of agents that that are out here working to help small business owners. So that's one thing that I would recommend: alternative funding, which is revenue-based funding. Okay, another great option for you are other fintech firms, which includes those companies where you use for your payment transactions, like Stripe, like PayPal, the ones that you use for your bookkeeping, like QuickBooks. Did you know that these companies offer you funding, and it's based on the transactions that you have coming in? So every now and again, when you have money coming in and they say that they see you're doing good business, you will receive an email like, we have a loan opportunity available for you. You qualify for X amount of money. In my history and experience, most times businesses owners need $10,000 or less. A lot of businesses, they need $10,000 or less. So fintech firms are perfect for this. Again, no equity you have to give up. You don't have to have collateral. And they're just basing it based on the revenue that you are already generating. And I love this. It's fantastic. And you're already doing business with them, so they're a trusted source. That's another thing, because you want to make sure when you're seeking out funding that you are pursuing trusted, reputable financial institutions to get your funding from. And you're already doing business with these companies. They have been a real help. Like even during the pandemic, when it came to the PPP, these companies were the companies that were on the front lines helping to get us the money and making the application process so simple. So it's simple, is easy, and is quick. Like literally probably within hours or in a day or two, you can have the funding that you need in your bank account.
Yeah. So this is good, right? And similarly, I can attest to this as well. I have a few different entities and I use Stripe for processing. And on every single one of the entities, because of the transactions that are coming in, every now and again, I'll see an alert that says, hey, we have an offer for you for capital, right? And on the different entities, the amount is different because it's based on the transactions, as you mentioned, that are coming in. And so because the Stripe can see how much money is being processed, they're like, oh, hey, I see how much money's coming in. So they have a relative idea of your capacity to be able to pay X amount of dollars back because they see how much you're doing in transaction volume. So, and this is also going back to what you said earlier, is about how you are accepting payment, right? Because oftentimes we'll think that we want to make it easy for people to pay us using Cash App or Venmo or whatever some of these other platforms are. But sometimes that hinders us from being able to get access to capital because we don't have a centralized location where transactions are coming in, so we can capitalize on that volume to be able to qualify for different funding opportunities. Now, that's not to say that you have to use the capital when they offer it to you, but just having the option to have access to it, like you mentioned earlier, is important, that you have a strategy to get capital before you need it, so that when it's time for you to access it, it's not this mad dash for like, oh my gosh, I need $10,000 or I'm going to have to shut down. It's like, oh, Stripe already offered me 12K, right? Let me take it, because that way when I do need the money, it's there and I'm able to pay it back over time based on the revenue that's coming in. So your mic is off. I just wanted to mention that real quick. But
I know I have noise in the background, so I didn't
oh,
want
okay. But yeah, this is a perfect way to be able to get access to funding and to not be afraid, right?
Yes.
To leverage OPM or other people's money.
Yeah. Can I say one quick thing? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I have some noise in the background. They're cutting my grass. But you mentioned like the bank account. That's why it's so important to have a business bank account, right? And I have over the years really tried to share with people that I don't recommend Cash App and some of these other tools. However, there have been, there have been changes and improvements over time. What you want to look for, yes, because when you're out here making sales and you want to offer a lot of options, right, to your consumers and to your customers, but you want to make sure that those apps that you are using are connected to your business bank account. That's the key. You need to make sure it's connected to your business bank account, and that the monies that you're getting through those apps are going directly to your business bank account. Because if it doesn't, and it's just going to your Cash App, and then you send that Cash App to your personal account, the funders are not going to consider that as you making money in your business, because they're looking at your business bank account. Okay. Another thing that I saw that affected a lot of people and prevented them from getting money or access to more money, because like even with these non-traditional financial institutions and funders, they will fund you sometimes even if you don't have a business bank account. However, the amount is lower, the interest is higher. And now with the grants, which is the number one opportunity that I tell business owners to go after, many of them won't, if you can't even apply or be eligible if you don't have a business bank account.
That's good. That's good.
Meaning
So
you can't even apply. You can't even apply. They will ask you are you eligible? How to know if you're eligible? You must have a business bank account, because these grants are giving thousands of dollars. You're not just talking about a $500 grant, or a $100 grant. They may say, okay, you have a personal account. But I remember when I applied for the Cuyahoga County grant, and I got it on the second round, you had to have a business bank account. So many people missed out simply because they did not have a business bank account. So that is so important. If one thing you take away from this, if you don't have a business bank account today, by Monday, you need to set up an appointment, go into your bank account, take 10 minutes to go set you up an account in your business name.
Yeah. And some banks even let you set up accounts online, right? And so if you're not able to get to a bank physically, don't let that stop you. You can find an institution that will allow you to set it up online. Some of the first banks I used, like Novo Bank, they allow you to set up accounts online. Even when I was banking with Truist, right? They allowed you to set up an account online. Now, one of the things I want to say about online banking for businesses is make sure that they have an actual business banking division that will keep the doors open in case there are opportunities for funding down the future from the business bank. Right now, as you're just getting started, it may not be an option based on, what type of business you have, what kind of revenue is going on. But later down the line, having a relationship at a bank that does great for business owners is another way that you prepare yourself to be ready for capital. Because if your deposits are there, they can see firsthand, hey, what's going on in the business, right? So that will remove one of the hurdles, is because you already have a relationship with that financial institution.
That's good. And most banks, like you said, that's so good. I like to go into the bank. I build relationships. That's another thing that's important, and I recommend, is building a relationship with your bank. I use Huntington. Try a community bank and credit unions. And you can diversify as well. I mean, we won't delve that deep into it. But they're a community bank. Community banks oftentimes are better. They have better opportunities. They really understand small business. They create programs specifically for and around small businesses. So I highly recommend that. And like you say, again, post-COVID, most banks you can set up an account online. You don't even have to go in, and you don't even have to make a deposit. So a lot of times people are like, well, I don't have the money. You don't have to make a deposit, or they may say deposit $5 or $25. I literally just opened another bank account with my bank, and I was prepared to make a deposit, and he said I didn't even have to make a deposit. The key is to get get your bank account open, because if you continue to operate a business and you are doing it with your personal money and your personal bank account, or you're commingling your business and your personal, you are going to miss out. They're not millions, they're not billions, there's trillions of dollars out here available for you to tap into. But if you have a personal account, and then when you talk about federal money too, state money, they're not sending thousands of dollars to your personal account, and that would be that is oftentimes a red flag. Just think about asking them for $100,000 for your business, and you're giving them a personal bank account to send it to. They're gonna question your seriousness.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a good thing to think about here is like if you want to play with the big dogs, you got to treat your business like it's a big dog business, right? So that means properly structured. That means having the appropriate types of accounts into place, record keeping, and starting to move like, hey, I am building the next Apple, right? Apple money ain't going into nobody personal account. Right? And so that's the type of mindset we have to have around our business. So as we kind of start to wrap this up, my last question for you is for folks who are listening and might feel overwhelmed by this process, what advice do you have for them to kind of ease their minds and how they can get started? Like, what would be the next steps?
What I would recommend, again, over the past 5 years, I've created so many tools to make it easy for entrepreneurs and small business owners. One I would recommend is start with our YouTube channel, at She Boss Talk. There's so much wealth of information that I have given away for free. So even if you are on a budget, don't have money, you're just starting up, go watch the videos. But make sure, if you're watching videos and you're going to do that, make sure you're doing it with intention. Take your notebook. Like I keep a notebook with me. Keep your, like, all the time. Keep your notebook and be intentional. Have something, at least 3 things that you're going to take away. You learn something and then you're going to apply it in your business. It's not enough to just go watch something, right? Because a lot of times people don't value free, but there's a lot of free content that people take for granted, right? And they don't apply. If you go apply what you have learned, you are going to be successful. Okay. And so again, a lot of these videos on how to apply for grant, how to set up your business, how to run your business, what to do, what types of mistakes to avoid, all of those types of things, all of that type of information is there. I would also recommend some of my classes and workbooks and ebooks. Like during COVID, I created a grant cheat sheet and checklist that really simplified the process and helping entrepreneurs understand how to apply for the grants, like how to answer questions, right? Like when you're applying for grants, they're going to ask you certain questions, like about yourself, your small business journey, about yourself and about your business. Like, what is your why? Why are you in business? What is your need for the money? How are you going to spend it? And a lot of times people are challenged with answering these questions. They're shy or they're nervous. And so this tool is going to help you set you up for success and help you understand how to tailor how to answer the questions, right? And it's giving you examples, but you want to share your own personal story. Understand that you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to put on a studio production. All you need is your phone. Like, understand they may ask you for an interview. They may ask you to do a 60-second video. Again, if they're giving you money and they say, okay, tell us your story, even if tell me what you are challenged with right now in your business so we can help you. And you're going to turn on your video and you're going to do a 60-second, 90-second video, whatever they ask you for within their time constraints, and you're going to do a video. We all have the phones. You invested in this. Use it as the investment into yourself when you are applying for funding, especially grant applications. Is going to be really important. So know that there are tools out there available to you. I have so many, and there's others out there. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself, what you're doing, what you're selling, what you're offering. You have to know, like she said, that you are the next Apple, that you're building something that's great. You're building something of value that's worth others investing in. You have to know that. That you have something great, and then you have to show up in that capacity. But there are real tools out there. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overproduce anything. And take it one step at a time. Know that this is a process. You don't have to have everything right. You don't have to be a writing expert when you're applying for grants or writing the application. And I would say seek out help. So get you a mentor, get your coach. That's why I'm here. That's why Tremaine is here. When they're asking you about financials and reports, reach out to your money team. Get a coach, get a mentor to help you through the process to set you up for success.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm glad you mentioned like telling your story, right? So one of the things that I did is I have a document, right, that has all the common questions that funders ask when we apply for grants. So every time I come across a new question that I haven't already answered in the past, I just add it to that spreadsheet. So that way, when I see a similar question, I don't have to rethink about how I'm going to answer. Like, oh, I answered something similar to this, and I go pull it from that document and I insert it into that application. And so what you'll start to notice is once you get started, it gets easier because you have a system and a process for how you start to apply for these things. But in the beginning, I was nervous as heck. I was like, I don't know what to say.
Right. The nervousness, if you're expecting the nervousness to go away, you get better, you get stronger, you're more prepared, then it becomes easier.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, even a person that is a podcast host, like I talk to people every day, it's a difference from doing this interview to getting on video or answering questions pertaining to my business. Like I get nervous, but am I going to let that stop me? No. What helps is what you said, setting yourself up a system for success. I do the same thing. One of the things that helped me, every grant, every funding I apply for, I have a spreadsheet that's dedicated that. I call it a tracker, right? So I mentioned our like cheat sheet and tracker. This is an Excel spreadsheet. So again, you don't have to have anything super fancy. Set you up a Word document with some tables or a spreadsheet. And then manage it that way. Use your calendar. If you have, these are again easy, free tools. You get you a Google Calendar, and set it on so you can monitor and track dates. Because one of the things I did mention was a mistake is that people don't keep track of time. They think they don't have a sense of urgency. And know that there are time limits on all of these opportunities that they will set. And so you have X amount of time, you have X amount of days, X amount of weeks to get this in, to respond, to reply, to follow up. And many times people don't follow up. They miss the opportunity. They apply, but they don't follow up on the opportunity. They don't check their emails. They don't check their inbox, and they don't reply. If you set yourself a system with your calendar, your alerts, and your document folder in your Google Drive or whatever drive you use, that is going to set you up for success. So I don't have to rewrite everything from scratch or answer questions. I document every question that I'm asked in a file in my folder before I even put it in the application. So if the power go out, I don't have to worry about losing it. Or if I said something great, now I lost it, and I'm like, oh my God, I said something great, but I don't remember what I said. I have it in my Word doc that I could go to, and then I can tweak it. Because as I apply now is different than when I applied 5 years ago. I have evolved, but I can still go back and remember where I was and what I said and challenges I had then. And how is it the same or different than now? How did I use the funds that I got before? And how can I apply it to the applications that I'm applying for now? And how can I also leverage the funds that I received before, right? Those are accomplishments that you can add to your portfolio and resume, that I was able to achieve this, right? Because of the strength and position of my company. And that helps me to qualify for this next opportunity that I'm pursuing. now in
Oh,
the
that's so good. So good. So many gems, y'all. Like so many gems, right? But unfortunately, we are coming
not a
to the
time.
end of this thing, right? But what I want to do is I want to make sure that people know how to get connected with you and how they can get any of the checklists, the things like that that you have mentioned. Of course, they'll be in the description, but how can people get connected? Because they need to know where the rest of the tips at.
I would also drop it in the comments and pin it, especially if it's going to be on YouTube. But you can find me at www.sheboss.com. I would highly recommend that you subscribe to our email list. We give even more gems. We are set up to set you up for success in every aspect of your business. We want you to get seen, we want you to get paid, and we want you to get funded. You can find me on YouTube. Follow our YouTube channel, our Facebook. We're on Instagram as well. But I hang out on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us at She Boss Talk. She Boss Talk. That we're the one and only She Boss Talk. And if there's impersonator out there, sometimes there are. You'll know because we have a lot of followers on our pages. But we look forward to connecting with you. And on my website, you'll find our digital online store that has our courses and workshops and trainings and checklists. And I know Tremaine is going to share that with you all as well. But you can go to our website. There's a tab at the top where you can find that information. And then feel free to reach out anytime for questions that you have, because again, we're here in business to make sure that you are successful. We're not successful if you're not successful, right? So, that's the most rewarding part, is when someone comes back and they say that something I said, the video that they watched, the tool that they used, the training that they took, the coaching that I gave them transformed them and their business. So I want to do more of that. And if it's something I can do, if I'm not the expert, I have a vast network that I can direct you to that help you in any area of your business. So feel free to reach out.
Yes, good stuff. All right, so it's Friday. I always like to ask, what is the one thing you like to do on Fridays with your business bestie?
What do I like to do with my business bestie? That's a good question. On a Friday. I think right now, while is getting warmer outside, is not hot yet. I love sitting out on my porch, and I love the ones that are locally to invite them over just to
Mm.
chat. And it's not always to talk about business. We have to bring some humanity. We are humans, right? But there's a human aspect to us. We go through a lot. And so while I love to talk about our business, I also like to talk about us from a holistic perspective, and everything that we go through as human beings, as a small business owner, that oftentimes other people don't relate to. So a lot of times this can be a lonely road. And we work in isolation a lot because there's so many people that don't understand. That's why it's so necessary to have business besties. And if you can't, they don't have to be local. Some of my best besties aren't even local here to where I live. So if you're struggling, like I don't have anyone local, I guarantee you, share yourself online. Reach out to people online. People are so open; they're ready to connect with you. Those are some of my biggest besties. What we do is we do something like this. We hop on a Zoom or we get on StreamYard and we just chat it out and share about our day. And I love tea. So I used to have coffees and chats a lot. So set up a coffee
Mm.
and chat, just get on a Zoom and just check in on each other, see how each other are doing, and ask how you can support them. A lot of times we ask people how they can support us, but when was the last time we asked, how can I support you in your business journey? Or even you as a woman, as a person, what is your need right now? I think if we do more of that, I think we would be better overall as people, and we would be able to build a bigger and better community of entrepreneurs that are really thriving.
Yes, that is so good. Look, that's a whole nother separate episode. But listen, y'all, this was fantastic. If you got any value from today's episode, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a business bestie or somebody you know who might just be killing it in business right now, and you would love to see them have some more money. All right. And don't forget, if you are ready to manage money better, or if you need any resources to help you get funding, check the comments for access to all of those different things, or tap the link to schedule a free discovery call where we can talk about your next steps. I will see you next Friday in another episode of Finance Fridays with Friends. Have a great day, y'all.
Great day.